Okay. Okay, good evening, our dear Aquarius. The person whose armor is their vision, their sense of vision, and their eyesight. Okay. Their sense of vision, their visionary ways, that's their armor. Nice big eyes. That's their guard, that's their protection. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. The 11th sign of the zodiac. 11 is pretty popular with a lot of twin flame type persons. This will symbolize both the Yod, which is the soul, and then God. The attributes of God. Okay? Which is why in some ways it can be a soulish sign, connecting to people on the soulish level. When it does make connections, it doesn't make light connections, makes pretty in-depth connections, and then at the same time, because of the godliness, because of the Aleph, the one, it can be almost alienating, being that ultimately much scripture derives holiness for God, that God is ultimately separate and apart from us, apart and separated from a lot of mundane things. Okay? So let's get your spread rolling. Okay, the dimension that you're in or that you're trying to get to is the Two of Wands. This is how you feel about it. Either where you are presently in that dimension or if you're trying to get to that dimension. Okay, this is how you feel about it. This is the challenge. Another two. Interesting. Another two. That two is not just about duality. It's about separations. It's about being that it's female. It's also showing here the two of coins. It doubles for the high priestess. Notice the two towers right here, which happen to also be her hair. Okay, let's see. Tools. The tool is number 16. Out with the old and in with the new. So we'll get to that. Okay. That's Major Arcana, number 16 there. Okay. Homework. Bottom of the deck. Basically what's controlling everything. The Fool. The Foxy Fool. Okay. And spiritually, another major arcana. The 9, the Hermit. Okay? The spiritual teacher. So let's get started. Okay, it looks like you're ultimately in some kind of intense discussion. Either you're in an intense discussion, you want to have a heated discussion, you may have heated words for someone that you love, being that the green symbolizes love. This is a sense of the blue is expressing yourself freely, with free reign, being able to express your thoughts, convey your thoughts. This person is more guarded instead by expression. This one is by love. You may be that person or vice versa. Someone may be that with you, okay? And that ultimately, even though your thinking is different, you might be thinking of talking. This person is thinking of love. You might not see the reason why you might have a heated discussion about it or argue is because you don't see these two as being the same. yet the whole card is just, it's full of blue, which is about expressing yourself the right way, that things are happening in a timely fashion, kind of like the current of the water. It's very cyclical. It's systematic. That could be the discussion that ultimately it's not systematic. Whatever this relationship is or represents, whether it's at work, whether it's with a loved one. So a discussion either needs to be had or is being had, but not had in the way that actually conveys the head or the vision of the people. This is heated. Okay, this is about control. Okay, this is about lack of ideas. When you have love, you normally have a bunch of ideas. When you are able to express yourself freely, that's generally the case too with all of this blue. But that's not the way it's coming out. Okay. As a result, you or the other person, you feel like, when I look at this, and I've had this card a couple of times come up, so I don't know what it is. Maybe that's in the current, in the air, or it could also be just not just that, but because of the particular weeks that we're coming into and the angels of those realms that deal with having some pretty intense discussion, some intense, some important discussion, but being able to do it from a standpoint of love and clarity. That's basically what we're moving into. Okay. And that in that clarity there's a sense of learning that must happen. Those angels of those particular that particular realm, not so, a little bit of the blue, but not so much of it. It's more the ones beneath it, which are going to be the archangel of that realm, be Raziel, which is for Hokmah or understanding. So somewhere there's a lack of understanding. There's a lot more intensity. There's more intensity than actual understanding. And because of it, it's putting people's emotions, and I don't know if too is because we're coming into Cancer season, which is very watery. That's a water sign. Lots of emotion. And you can convey a lot of emotion, but that doesn't mean you get any growth or development. Okay? Where emotionalism, emotions or passions, they might be used as a form of, which when I noticed this earlier, seems very predatory, except for the fact that here she's holding her expression, her mind, she's holding things intact. She has control and she's contained. And then she's surrounded by development, by growth. But on the flip side, because this can go either or, she can be turned upside down, where instead expression or her mouth is ruling things, or your mouth is ruling the situation and actually speaking a lot of death or negativity or separation or severance. When I say death, like negativity, if it's speaking a lot of negativity, you might be saying what's on your mind, but you're not using a lot of tact for that purpose. More understanding, which would be from, like I said, Hokmah, the sphere of Hokmah, the Hebrew sphere of Hokmah, as well as Bina, understanding, wisdom and understanding. That when you rule, you still have to rule with a sense of control. You can't be like a lid that's about to go off. And then also here, what I noticed when I said earlier, when I was looking at this card, and it's sticking out again to me. Here, the hand looks like it's leaning on a cane. This could be some type of codependency. Some type of tit for tat, trade-off. Well, I don't say what's really on my mind. I kind of hold this stuff in so that I can lean on you passionately or lean on you in some way to get something for me or to make development for me. To make grounds and to cover grounds, and so I make you look like you're wearing the pants, but really I'm the one kind of running things. Or it could be where one person is running it, the other person is subservient, and this is what it looks like. Then in order to have certain comforts to be covered by these flowers, this is abundance, this is development, they're all different sizes. Earlier these looked like pinnacles to me, and they look like that now actually. That to have that, then I got to keep a hold on my mind, not really say what's on my mind, and just kind of lean on you, so that I can put you in the primary position, the decision making position. This could be happening, dear Aquarius. Okay. The challenge, balance. This is in balance. Balance. Choose. Twos are about proper balance. That's the challenge. Something is imbalanced. Power is imbalanced. Control is imbalanced. The mind might be imbalanced. Emotion and expression might be imbalanced. We know for certain, because all of these flowers are different sizes, growth and development is certainly imbalanced, maybe even sporadic. So the challenge is to balance. Okay, and because of the yellow, we need to balance not so much thoughts or ideas or opinions. No, the balance that's going to build this, and continue to build this fire and keep it going is going to come from organization, faith, okay? So getting a hold on our emotions, having some follow through, purple meaning success, and resolution, following through on the resolution, following through on whatever it is, whatever this benefit is, following through on it so that you do what you say you started out with. Purple is at the top of the chakras. This is like, yellow is like midway. So this is about something that maybe needs to get done, needs some orderliness to finish the task, finish what you began. Don't start to quit midway. And that you will be rewarded. Whatever you're going through with this situation, it will balance itself out. Because you've got a 2, you've got another 2. Okay? What's the tool? This is another 2. Out with the old. That's 1. In with the new. That's 2. Maybe this is why this is heated. Out with the old, in with the new. Heaven is showing you a sign that it's time to move into a new direction. Maybe that's what this is too. Moving from disorganization and follow through to follow through and motivate that's supported by motivation. Here, you're thinking you could be successful, but you don't have the organization and the tools and the faith and the emotions in order to bring it about. Here, however, your emotions, your organization is supported by, and it's bringing out. So it's underneath like a good house or a good pillar. So instead, this is like the pillar to this. This is holding this up. This is holding up the success and the resolution. This is holding up the peace. Organization holds up the peace. Peace does not hold up because of how the chakras, how they go up. They go up. They start at the bottom and work their way up. So this is backwards. And maybe that's what the imbalance is all about. And that may have been your way of doing things, which, but it's not working. It's not productive. Okay, so out with that. We're in a new age, a new era. Out with that. Out with the way that you're looking at things. See those two big eyes? Two big eyes. Two really, really bigger eyes. Those two pentacles. Maybe it's the way that you're making money. Maybe the way you are being a benefit to others and them to you. Out with the old. Maybe it's some form of patronage going on. This codependency. You kind of getting what you want, but you're not quite getting what you want. If y'all are constantly in arguments or misunderstandings with one another about it. And you might feel, well, we'll just talk through it. His eyes are blue here. We can talk through it. We can express it. Long as we can talk through it, then that works it out. But this is showing that no, you can talk through it all day. But in the end, in this situation, one person, after you get through talking and expressing and whatnot, one person's going to feel like they've got some control and the other one is going to feel like they lost it. Out with the old, in with the new states, heaven is showing you a sign that it's time to move in a new direction. Often this is because you're not happy. Confirmation. And feel a lack of purpose in your life. You don't want to keep talking, and this fire goes out. Then it'll be cold. And as a result, that fire, you might end up using your own fire, which is going to drain you at some point. We all have to be fueled and refueled. Okay. It's a feeling of lack of purpose in your life. This is a wake-up call to make changes that match your heart's desire and your spiritual truths. So something is not matching. You may have a match. You may have a match. It may be a fire sign. You may have a match. However, it's not really what's in sync with what's in your heart. This is how it looks. Chaotic. It's like talking about a success that you don't see. Look at the moon in the middle. The moon is a revealer. That you need revelation. You need to, so that you can see just and pinpoint what this is. This might not be a person. It might be a job. That's dead end. But you're doing it because it pays your menial bills, but it's not promoting you to where you really want to go. It doesn't even look into that. Your success is stifled by disorganization. Okay. So what's your heart's desire? What are you wanting? Well, first, you're needing a spiritual mentor or a teacher. This is who this represents. Someone you can go off and be alone with and actually glean and learn knowledge from. The spiritual teacher, there are great rewards in spending time alone. So that too, not always being around a lot of people to see what everybody thinks. This is a lot of eyes on the situation. The 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a lot of eyes. And maybe that's, just too many eyes. Too many eyes, really, like eye and selfishness too. So you may have to go off to be alone and just use these moments of solitude to focus on love and the ways in which you might give to those around you. So it's about you giving some light, sharing some light, not just taking from them, but getting also. A balanced give and take. It says, Shine your light as an example for others to follow. So you might be looking for examples when you need to be one yourself. Seek out a spiritual mentor of your own if your life feels unfulfilled right now. So you could be doing this both ways. You could be going to a mentor to learn how to become more of a role model and example. Because there is a way to still, this is the Fool, to still have some abandonment. You can use that, and not be reckless with it. It's all in the way that you use it. There are lots of people who wrote books, started businesses, did things that people didn't think would be a success. They looked like a fool while they were doing it. But because they had proper mentoring and education and information about what they were getting into, when their day came around, they actually received a lot of respect. They weren't looked so much as being a fool as they were looked at as the fool. Look at him, he's cunning. But ultimately, you can come out the same way, where your eyes don't look bigger than your stomach, where you don't look like you're aiming to try to get something that really is kind of out of your purview. It's teaching that you need, either to learn from someone, to learn about the thing more, have enlightenment about what you're pursuing. Okay? Okay. So it's the 9, birthing. Something coming to birth, something coming to fruition. Okay? And that fruit for you seems to be enlightenment, new light, a new way to look at the thing, to look at the relationship, to look at what you're really getting out of it. And if what you're getting out of it is as balanced, then what's the argument about? Then what's the argument about? Control? Maybe? Wealth? Abundance? Maybe? Okay. So there's your read then. Okay. Like I said, about this time, and I'll start putting up something too regarding the particular angels and things, which angels are just the faces of God. That's all they are. Look how she's putting in a different direction. This is 16 in the major arcana. Out with the old. Something having to die. In with the new. That when you pass over it, you'll go into a new life, a new dimension. A new life, a new dimension. And with this Cancer season, that keeps coming up. And I think it's because, for the most part, biblically, when there was the water first appeared, so did the Spirit, the Holy Spirit of God, who said, let there be light, let there be illumination. Most of these have been very much about illumination, and then the division started. Then the duality started. Evening and morning were the first day. Then the division started. That's not been the case, it looks like, through most of this time. A sense of duality from a lot of the signs, pretty much all of them. Not seeing things perfectly or clearly, being in the dark. That's why he called let there be light. Maybe in a more watery season, there's less light to be had, less light to be seen. Okay? But even though there is less light, you're being given a small light, a light that you could even use within. To go within. To check, where is this coming from? Where is this stemming from? Okay? All right. God bless.